Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we have another kind of big off-season rumor speculation type story to talk about. Obviously we've had a lot of different stuff going on. We are kind of in the heat of the off-season right now. Between spring and summer, it's not as crazy, it's not as exciting, it's not as fun as the real off-season between Worlds and the next spring split, but there's still some stories to talk about. There is some potential stuff in the works, and potentially a really big, really popular, very talented jungler could be on the move. We don't exactly know where yet, but this is a kind of an ongoing story where Shadow LOL, formerly of Mad Lions, most recently in the past summer 2020, Worlds 2020 with them, tweeted out, "Waiting in the airport with a mask is no fun." Now this tweet in and of itself, you know, seems pretty harmless. Seems like a guy just kind of tweeting about his day, tweeting about his life. But as you can see, all the rumor accounts are kind of going crazy. People are wondering what exactly is going on. And I think there actually might be something a little more here to this than maybe at first meets the eye. And that's what we're going to be talking about in today's video. But before we get into that, I just want to mention real quick, if you guys have not already, please take a second, smash that like button. I would appreciate it so much. It really does help me out with the YouTube algorithm. Just running those numbers up, getting my videos, content, everything out to more and more people. That would be absolutely awesome. Just helps me grow. And obviously that's what we're trying to do here. We're trying to get, you know, seen by more and more people. Also subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content so you guys don't miss out on anything we got going on in the future. We definitely have tons of awesome videos and content coming your guys' way. With that being said, let's get right into this. So again, Shadow, he tweets this out. He says, "Waiting in the airport with mask is no fun." And that gets people wondering, why is this guy at the airport? Why is he tweeting about this? Why is he telling us? And again, people tweet little seemingly insignificant stuff all the time. But the interesting thing here is that Shadow has actually not tweeted since December 18th of 2020 when he tweeted out, "I won't be playing in the LEC next year as I've decided that I will go to China during the pandemic." He says when the pandemic, so I assume he meant during the pandemic, will be in or until the pandemic will be in a better situation. So he's been laying low in China. I assume he's been playing a ton of League of Legends and stuff. I don't think he was playing professionally on any teams, at least as far as I could figure out. He hasn't been, but maybe he's been doing something to some capacity or some extent. But obviously a lot of people were really sad to see him go at the time. You know, Finn's tweeting at him, Tom Matheson's tweeting at him, Bloop, Upset, all these guys, because Shadow was really beloved in the LEC. And I believe in his most recent split, summer 2020, with the Mad Lions, I believe he was actually the first team all LEC jungler as well. So this is a very, very talented player. This is a very talented guy. Yes, his time with Mad Lions didn't end the best, obviously, with them going to Worlds and not even making it out of the play-in stages, but they had a very, very good regular season. They were still able to qualify for the World Championships, and even though things didn't go their way, it definitely was not all entirely Shadow's fault. Obviously, El Yoya has come in and been an absolute beast with Mad Lions, and he's been very, very good. And he's been an awesome replacement, but that doesn't mean there isn't still a massive market for Shadow if he ever does decide to return to the LEC, to the LCS, wherever, and he's going to have a ton of options available to him. But anyway, the point with that all is that this guy doesn't just tweet all the time. This guy doesn't just tweet about his life. He doesn't tweet his day-to-day. He's not just, you know, "Oh, I'm at the airport today, guys." It's not like he's tweeting stuff like that all the time. He only tweets off this account, it seems like, when stuff's going on, you know. And again, his last tweet was saying he's not going to be playing the LEC. Now all of a sudden he's tweeting out from his Shadow account talking about how he's at the airport. Where's he flying to? What's going on? Is he going to meet and talk with some organizations, some teams? Is he coming back to Europe? Is he maybe going to Los Angeles? You know, who knows exactly? And that's where things start to get a little bit interesting. Obviously Finn tweets at him, "Let's go to the beach when you arrive," which has people wondering, you know, Finn obviously is in NA, Finn's in Los Angeles, he's playing for CLG. Does that mean that Shadow's coming to North America? And it might, it really could, because again, I believe that at the least Shadow is in talks with some LEC or LCS teams or something. Otherwise, I don't even think he would be giving us any of this info. I don't even think he would be talking. And it kind of lines up well with what he was talking about, how the pandemic is starting to get better in a lot of people's eyes. Vaccinations are getting out there. Things are starting to open up. We're seeing events with sold out crowds in the United States now. There's countries out there where things are getting a little bit more under control. Things are getting safer. People are starting to relax a little bit. Life is slowly but surely starting to come back to normal. So that could line up perfectly with Shadow potentially making a return during the summer split. And again, Finn could be trolling. He could, because he knows that people are going to take this stuff and run with it, that all the rumor speculation accounts are going to be all over it. Obviously, when Shadow tweeted this out, you see Wooloo, he's responding it with a little bit of a shock face. Bloop is responding with the eyes. So, I mean, we have a ton of people really excited, but also taking note and taking interest in the fact that Shadow's back on Twitter. He's at the airport. He's getting ready to go somewhere. He's getting ready to fly somewhere. Potentially he's talking to somebody, and people are just waiting to get to the bottom of this now. People are waiting to get the scoop and figure out what's going on. Again, when we take a look at Shadow historically, he's had some very, very good runs. In his trivia stuff here, it talks about how he was offered a spot on EDG in 2019. So this is obviously a very, very talented guy that people all over the world do respect and see a ton of potential in. He is just 20 years old, so he's still a very, very young player with a ton of just talent, potential, a very bright future ahead of him if he ever decides to get back into the competitive scene. Most recently, again, in the summer split of 2020 with Mad Lions, they finished second. They ended up getting fourth in the playoffs, and then obviously not qualifying for the main stage at Worlds, but still a second place finish in the regular season, the LEC. That's still very, very impressive. That was still a very, very good showing. And again, he was one of the best, if not the best junglers in the regular season. And that's in a region with Jankos, in a region with Inspired, in a region with Self-Made, all kinds of very, very talented and respected junglers around the world. Shadow was still one of the best, if not the best. So the main rumor that people are really talking about right now, and I've seen some people talking about a little bit, is Finn, saying let's go to the beach when you arrive, and then Shadow tweets out, I will go surfing on the cloud, and nobody knows really what that meant, what they're talking about. This guy tweets out C9 Academy, and that is kind of what people have started talking about. Could this be Shadow potentially talking with Cloud9 now? It could be. It definitely could be. It's possible, depending on what kind of offers and stuff Shadow has out there. Again, you would think there would be LEC teams willing to give Shadow that starting spot. I know historically there's been a lot of rumors and speculation that Shadow would be the next G2 jungler once Jankos decides to step down, once Jankos decides to retire or whatever. Again, there's going to probably be some LEC offers, but again, the LCS can potentially pay more. The LCS can potentially throw out more money. They can potentially set them up in a better situation financially and everything. And Cloud9 is obviously one of those big spending teams. They like to get their hands on as many players as they can. They like to develop them, and they like to sell them off. This doesn't mean if he goes to C9 Academy that they'd be looking to start him over Blabber or anything like that. But it just means that they could give him a chance to prove himself once again, get his feet wet in the competitive scene, start building up, and then set him up for whatever offers he wants to take in the spring split of 2022. And then Cloud9 can hopefully make some money selling him off in the process. Yes, Cloud9 Academy right now does have Surenfire. He's one of the better Academy junglers. People are really pretty hyped up and excited about this guy in the future as well. But nobody's saying that Surenfire is better than Shadow. Nobody is saying that Surenfire has a brighter, more exciting future ahead of him than Shadow. I mean, maybe they are. I would be really surprised if that's kind of a prevalent opinion. So it would be a little bit crazy. Maybe there's not a ton of bearing or anything there, but it would be a possibility. It would be an option. If Shadow is interested in coming to North America, Cloud9 is obviously one of the very, very respected regions. Their academy team is always developing players, always selling them off. And it could be a way for Cloud9 to make a lot of money. And then again, Shadow to just kind of audition for the rest of the world to really show what he's still got, because obviously when you take time off, especially extended time off like this, people are going to kind of want you to prove yourself again and see what you got, because the game changes. The meta is obviously very, very different, and their last showing with Mad Lions at Worlds didn't really end the best. Scuff Skeleton was also tweeting about this a little bit. He said, realistically, what team could Shadow land on? Because this is a big thing that a lot of people are talking about right now. There are a lot of different options out there, and people are generally curious. CLG is something I've heard a little bit. Finn's tweeting at him. It seems like him and Finn are friends. Could he end up on CLG? Possibly. They have Brox. I don't think Brox is necessarily the long-term situation that that team is looking for. I believe Brox only signed a one-year deal with CLG. So who knows exactly what's going to happen there. I think that would be unlikely, but for sure it's possible. It could happen. Also, we have a lot of people saying 100 Thieves. A lot of people talking about 100 Thieves, saying that this makes sense. In this scenario, 100 Thieves would be selling off Closer and then bringing in Shadow. And that would actually be interesting. Because there was a lot of talk, obviously, about like Niski and Closer being able to play together, having the Turkish synergy and everything. But now that Abadage is the guy in the mid lane, I believe Abadage has played with Closer before, and I believe there is some existing synergy and stuff there, which is pretty interesting. And we'll see how that goes. But Closer has been, to me, he was a little bit disappointing this last split. He's not completely irreplaceable. I would be kind of really surprised if they did decide to sell off Closer and bring in Shadow, but you know, I don't think it would be completely inconceivable. I think it would definitely be possible. And again, we're talking about esports organizations that struggle to make money, struggle to make a profit. And if you can ever sell off a player for a lot of money and then bring in another comparable level player and quality of player, that a lot of the times is going to be a pretty good business decision, even though it's not necessarily, might not be the best decision for your League of Legends team. Again, not saying that Closer is straight up better than Shadow or anything, but he probably synergizes with the existing roster better. That'd be kind of a crazy change to make. So I think that is pretty unlikely. So I don't really expect that one to happen. TSM Academy would be interesting. Again, this one's tough. I don't know. C9 Academy, maybe. TSM Academy, maybe. I feel like Shadow's going to get some starting offers from the LCS and LEC. Maybe not in between these two splits, but for sure in the offseason if he wants. But TSM Academy, they did just get rid of Babip, their jungler. So they do have an opening in the academy. You know, speak as a guy who, again, I wasn't super impressed with him this past split. I don't think that they're just looking to replace him, but maybe you could have Shadow in the academy, again, looking to develop an asset to eventually sell off. This is possible. We don't know for sure. And then just a lot of other people throwing around some other stuff, Immortals, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, EG. But again, a lot of people are just wondering, why did Shadow tweet out that he's surfing on the cloud? Does this mean that Cloud9 is an option? Does this mean he's in talks with Cloud9? Does this mean he wants to go to Cloud9? Does this mean he is going to Cloud9? I don't know for sure, but what I do really think and what I do really believe, you know, a lot of this is super speculation, super speculatory, but what I do think is pretty likely at this point is it does seem like Shadow is back in the competitive scene. It does look like he's back in the competitive pool. It looks like he is going to be looking for offers, looking to talk to teams and see what happens from there, because again, I don't think he would be back on this Twitter account. I don't think he'd be back talking, back kind of putting out these you know, little pieces of information to people, because that's not what he's done historically. He's not a guy who just tweets and tweets and tweets. He is probably saying something here, and I know that probably sounds a little bit crazy. That probably sounds like we're reaching a little bit, but I really do think that. And Cloud9 could be an option. It could be a lot of NA teams. It could be LEC teams as well. But no matter what, this is going to be a big story, because this is a very talented player that would really help out any team and any org that he goes to, whether it's actually on the Rift, whether it's making some money for a team, making some money for an org. I don't know, but I know there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be excited to have Shadow back in the scene. But that is pretty much it for this video today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video. Leave a comment down below. What do you think's going on with Shadow? Do you think he's going to head to the LEC, LCS? What team? I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe to stay up to date on all my latest content. Hopefully I catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.